You've been telling yourself you should be further by now, more healed, more confident, more certain, and yet here you are doing your best, still feeling like it isn't enough. Pause with me for a moment. Breathe. What if the pressure you're carrying is not pushing you forward, but quietly holding you back? There is a soft truth you may have forgotten. Growth does not always feel like progress. Sometimes healing looks like resting. Sometimes strength looks like stopping. And sometimes the bravest thing you can do is admit, I am tired of being hard on myself. That admission alone begins a shift. Think about how often you speak to yourself when no one is listening. The silent criticism, the constant not yet, the belief that love must be earned through effort. But your life was never meant to be a test you keep failing. Your body, your heart, your journey, they are responding to every thought you repeat. If you stay with me, you will remember something simple, something soothing, something powerful. Not a demand, not a command, a reminder your soul has been waiting to hear. Let these words land gently. Listen as if your own heart asked for them, because it did. My beloved, I want to begin right here, exactly where you are. Not where you think you should be, not where you hoped you might be by now, but where your breath is landing in this very moment. There is a deep kindness in allowing yourself to arrive without judgment. When we stop demanding that the present moment justify itself, something inside us softens. The body listens and begins to relax, as if it has finally been given permission to rest. So many of us have learned to greet ourselves with pressure. We wake up already measuring the day, already telling ourselves what must be fixed, improved, or accomplished. This habit is so familiar that it can feel like motivation, yet the body often experiences it as strain. I invite you to notice how it feels when you set that measuring stick down, even for a moment. Notice how your shoulders respond. Notice the way your breath changes when there is nothing to prove. There is nothing wrong with wanting to grow. Growth is natural. What brings pain is the belief that you are inadequate until growth is complete. Life does not withhold love until you reach a certain point. Life offers love now, in this unfinished, tender place. When you accept this, the nervous energy that comes from striving can begin to settle, and the heart can open in a gentler way. I have come to understand that many of our struggles begin with the thought, I am not enough yet. This thought often hides beneath more acceptable words like responsibility or discipline. But the message is the same. The body hears it and responds by bracing itself, holding tension as if preparing for judgment. When we replace this thought with a kinder one, the body receives a different instruction. It begins to trust. You may have been telling yourself that you should be further along by now. I invite you to become curious about that word should. It carries the weight of other voices, other expectations, often formed long before you had a choice. Ask yourself gently, whose voice is this? Does it truly belong to me? You do not need to answer right away. Simply asking begins to loosen its grip. Rest is often misunderstood. Many people believe rest must be earned, that it comes only after everything is finished. Yet life is never finished. There is always another task, another goal, another place the mind wants to go. When rest is postponed indefinitely, the body remains in a state of quiet exhaustion. Allowing yourself to rest now is not giving up. It is honoring your humanity. I want you to know that pausing does not mean you are falling behind. It means you are listening. When you slow down, emotions that have been waiting patiently can finally be felt. This is not a setback. It is an invitation to heal at a deeper level. The body knows how to release when it feels safe enough to do so. Notice how often you rush yourself, even in moments meant for comfort. You may hurry through meals, through conversations, even through your own feelings. This constant movement can become a way of avoiding presence. When you choose to move more slowly, you send a message to yourself that you are worth time and attention. Your body has been responding faithfully to every thought you have repeated. It has been listening when you told yourself to push harder. It has been listening when you told yourself to wait until later for relief. And it will listen just as faithfully when you begin to speak to yourself with compassion. This is not something you have to force. It is something you allow. I often say that acceptance is the first step to change. Acceptance does not mean liking everything about your situation. It means acknowledging what is without adding the extra burden of self-criticism. When you stop fighting reality, you free up energy that can be used for healing. The body feels this shift immediately. You may notice resistance to this idea. The mind might say, if I accept where I am, I will never move forward. This is an old misunderstanding. Love does not make us complacent. It makes us resilient. When we feel supported from within, we are more willing to take gentle steps toward change. I invite you to place a hand on your body, perhaps on your heart or your belly, and simply feel its warmth. This simple gesture can be a powerful reminder that you are here, alive, and worthy of care. The body responds to touch with a sense of reassurance, as if hearing the words, "You are safe with me." There is a rhythm to life that cannot be rushed. Seeds do not grow faster when we pull on them. They grow when the conditions are right. You are no different. When you provide yourself with patience and kindness, growth happens naturally, without strain. Many people believe that being hard on themselves is a way to stay in control. In truth, it often creates the very chaos they are trying to avoid. Harshness tightens the body and clouds the mind. Gentleness creates clarity. From clarity, wise action emerges. I want to remind you that you are not behind. You are not late. You are not failing at life. You are living it with all its pauses and turns. The soul does not keep score the way the mind does. It cares about honesty, presence, and love. As you sit with these words, notice any urge to hurry past them. That urge is a habit, not a necessity. You can choose to stay. You can choose to let this moment be enough. When you do, you may feel a quiet relief, as if something you have been carrying has been set down. Breathing consciously is one of the simplest ways to come home to yourself. Each breath is an affirmation that you are willing to be here. You do not need to change your breathing, just notice it. The body knows how to breathe without instruction, just as it knows how to heal when given support. I often remind myself that the present moment is the only place where change can occur. When we are lost in regret or worry, we step out of the flow of life. When we return to now, we return to our power. This power is gentle, not forceful. It feels like ease. You may discover emotions arising as you slow down. Allow them to be present without labeling them as problems. Feelings are not enemies, they are messages. When they are welcomed, they move through more freely. When they are resisted, they linger. There is a deep wisdom in the body that predates all our learned rules. It knows when it needs rest, warmth, reassurance. When you listen to this wisdom, you align yourself with life rather than struggling against it. This alignment brings peace. I want you to know that simply listening to these words is an act of self-love. You have chosen to pause, to receive, to be gentle with yourself. That choice matters. It sends a signal to your entire being that change can come through kindness. You do not need to earn your right to be here. You were born with it. Life did not make a mistake when it created you. Every experience you have had has brought you to this moment of awareness. There is value in that, even if the mind cannot yet see it. As we move forward together, remember this feeling of coming home. You can return to it at any time. It does not require effort, only willingness. And willingness, my dear, is always enough. When you are ready, we will continue gently into the next unfolding, listening more closely to the voice within and learning to meet it with compassion rather than judgment. Now that you have allowed yourself to arrive, I invite you to listen more closely to what lives inside you. There is a voice that speaks quietly throughout the day, often unnoticed, shaping how you feel about yourself and the world. This inner voice has been with you for a long time. It learned its language early, absorbing words, tones, and meanings from moments when you were seeking safety and approval. I want you to know that this voice is not your enemy. Even when it sounds harsh or critical, it began as a form of protection. Somewhere along the way, it learned that being vigilant, demanding, or cautious might prevent pain. Understanding this allows us to meet it with compassion rather than resistance. When we stop fighting the voice, it begins to soften on its own. Take a moment to notice what you say to yourself when something feels difficult. Perhaps there is a familiar phrase that arises, something like, "You should know better," or "Why can't you just get this right?" These words often come automatically without conscious choice. Simply noticing them is an act of awareness, and awareness is always the first step toward healing. Many of these thoughts were learned long ago, repeated so often they became habits. They may have come from caregivers, teachers, or cultural expectations that equated love with performance. As children, we absorbed these messages because we wanted to belong. Now, as adults, we have the opportunity to choose again. We can decide which thoughts still serve us and which ones are ready to be released. I have found that the body responds immediately to our inner dialogue. When the voice is critical, the body tightens, breath becomes shallow, and energy contracts. When the voice is kind, the body relaxes, breath deepens, and energy flows more freely. This is not imagination. It is a natural response. The body is always listening. There is no need to argue with your thoughts or try to silence them. Struggle only gives them more attention. Instead, I invite you to gently introduce a new tone. You might begin with a simple phrase such as, "I am willing to be kinder to myself." Willingness opens a door without forcing anything to change all at once. Patience is essential here. Many people want to replace every negative thought immediately, but healing does not respond well to urgency. Think of it as teaching a new language. Repetition and gentleness matter far more than perfection. Each time you choose a kinder thought, even briefly, you strengthen a new pattern. Imagine how you would speak to someone you love deeply if they were struggling. Notice the softness in your voice, the reassurance in your words. That same tone is available to you. You are not required to speak to yourself more harshly than you would ever speak to another. This realization alone can be profoundly healing. When you notice self-criticism arise, place a hand on your heart and say silently, "I hear you." This simple acknowledgement can create space. You are not agreeing with the criticism. You are recognizing its presence without judgment. The body responds to this recognition with relief. Affirmations work best when they feel safe. If a statement feels too far from your current belief, you can soften it. Instead of saying, "I love myself completely," you might say, "I am learning to appreciate myself more each day." This allows the mind to relax rather than resist. I want to remind you that healing is not about fixing what is broken. You are not broken. Healing is about remembering what has always been whole beneath layers of learned fear. When you approach yourself with curiosity instead of criticism, those layers begin to dissolve naturally. There may be moments when you feel discouraged, when old thoughts seem to return with strength. This does not mean you are failing. It means you are becoming more aware. Awareness can feel uncomfortable at first because it brings hidden patterns into view. Trust that this discomfort is temporary and purposeful. I often encourage people to stand in front of a mirror and look into their own eyes while speaking kind words. This practice can feel unfamiliar or even emotional, but it is deeply powerful. The eyes reflect truth. When you offer compassion there, the body receives it fully. As you listen to your inner voice with greater tenderness, you may notice a shift in how you respond to the world. Situations that once triggered strong reactions may begin to feel less charged. This is a sign that the nervous system is learning safety. From safety, clarity arises. Remember that you do not need to understand every thought to heal. You only need to choose love in the moment you notice tension. Love is not a reward. It is a choice you can make again and again. Each choice builds upon the last. There is great freedom in realizing that thoughts are habits, not truths. Just because a thought appears does not mean it is accurate or permanent. You have the ability to choose which thoughts you nurture. This is responsibility without blame, and it is deeply empowering. Be gentle with yourself as you practice this new way of listening. There will be days when compassion flows easily and days when it feels distant. Both are part of the journey. What matters is your willingness to return again and again to kindness. As you continue to listen inwardly, notice moments of quiet between thoughts. These spaces are natural and restorative. They remind you that you are more than your inner dialogue. In these moments, peace becomes accessible without effort. I want you to know that every loving thought you choose is a gift to your body. It is an invitation for muscles to relax, for breath to deepen, for energy to move freely. Healing responds to this environment with gratitude. You are learning to become a safe place for yourself. This is one of the most important relationships you will ever nurture. As it grows, it influences every other area of your life, creating harmony where there was once struggle. Stay with this practice gently. There is no finish line. There is only the ongoing choice to meet yourself with compassion. From this choice, profound change unfolds naturally. When you are ready, we will continue into the next unfolding, where we begin to release the need to be somewhere else and discover the peace that lives right here. Beloved, as you listen more gently to your inner voice, you may begin to notice another quiet habit of the mind, the belief that life will truly begin later, later when you are healed enough, later when you are more confident, later when everything finally feels settled. This belief can be so subtle that it feels like common sense, yet it keeps the heart in a constant state of waiting. I want to remind you that happiness is not a destination. It is a state of allowing. When we place our well-being in the future, the present moment becomes something to endure rather than inhabit. The body feels this postponement as tension, as if it must hold itself together until permission to relax finally arrives. Many of us learned early on that love and approval were given conditionally. We absorbed the idea that we must reach certain milestones to be worthy of ease. Over time, this turns into an inner timeline that is never quite satisfied. Even when we reach one goal, the mind quickly creates another. This is not failure, it is conditioning. Notice how often you tell yourself, "Once this is over, I will feel better." These words may appear comforting, but they quietly deny you relief in the present. The body does not understand future promises. It responds only to what is being thought and felt now. When relief is postponed, the body continues to carry the weight. Forgiveness plays a gentle but essential role here. Forgiveness is not about excusing the past. It is about releasing yourself from the belief that it still controls you. This includes forgiving yourself for not meeting imagined expectations or timelines. You did the best you could with the understanding you had at the time. I have learned that urgency often masks fear. When we feel rushed, it is usually because we believe something is wrong with where we are. This belief activates the body's defenses, making peace feel unreachable. When we question the belief itself, urgency begins to dissolve. Your life is not behind schedule. The soul does not measure progress in years or accomplishments. It measures growth in awareness, compassion, and honesty. From the soul's perspective, every experience contributes to understanding. Nothing is wasted. There is great freedom in letting go of the idea that you must arrive somewhere else to be whole. Wholeness is not something you earn, it is something you recognize. When you allow yourself to be present, even in uncertainty, you reclaim your power. The body responds beautifully to this shift. Muscles soften, breath deepens. Energy that was tied up in worry becomes available for creativity and clarity. This is not something you force. It happens naturally when pressure is released. Gratitude is a gentle doorway back into the present moment. When you acknowledge what has supported you so far, the mind begins to relax its grip on what is missing. Gratitude does not deny difficulty, it balances it with recognition of strength. I invite you to notice the ways your body has carried you through challenges. It has adapted, endured, and healed in countless ways, often without acknowledgement. Offering appreciation to your body can be deeply soothing. It reminds you that you are not at war with yourself. Letting go of urgency allows intuition to return. When the mind is no longer racing ahead, you can hear the quiet guidance that has always been there. This guidance speaks softly and patiently. It does not rush you because it trusts the timing of life. You may find that releasing the need to be somewhere else brings up fear. The mind might say, if I stop pushing, nothing will happen. This is an old belief, not a truth. Growth that comes from love is far more sustainable than growth that comes from fear. Being present is an act of courage. It requires trust in yourself and in life. It asks you to meet uncertainty with openness rather than control. When you do, you create space for new possibilities to emerge naturally. I want to remind you that peace is not passive. It is a powerful state of alignment. From peace, inspired action arises effortlessly. When you are no longer fighting the present, you can respond to life with clarity and wisdom. Allow yourself to rest in the idea that this moment is not a problem to solve, it is a place to inhabit. When you treat it as such, the body relaxes into a sense of belonging. You are not waiting for life, you are participating in it. As you continue to release the need to be somewhere else, notice how your thoughts slow down. Notice how your breath becomes more rhythmic. These are signs that you are returning to yourself. This return is deeply healing. There is nothing you need to prove to deserve peace. Peace is your natural state when you stop arguing with the present. Each time you choose to be here, you reinforce this truth within your body. You may return to old habits of rushing or worrying. This is natural. When you notice it, gently guide yourself back without criticism. Every return strengthens your ability to remain present for longer periods of time. I want you to trust that life unfolds with intelligence and care. You do not need to force it into shape. When you align with the present moment, you align with life itself. As we move forward, carry this understanding with you. You are not late to your life. You are exactly where you need to be to learn the next lesson, receive the next insight, and experience the next opening of the heart. When you are ready, we will continue into the next unfolding, where we choose gentle thoughts and learn the healing power of loving approval. My dear one, now that you have begun to rest more fully in the present moment, there is an opportunity to choose again the thoughts you allow to live within you. Thoughts are powerful, not because they must be perfect, but because they are repeated. What we say to ourselves each day becomes the atmosphere in which our body and heart live. When that atmosphere is gentle, healing feels safer. I want to return to the foundation of all my work, self-love. This is not a reward you give yourself after improvement. It is the ground from which improvement grows. When you approve of yourself as you are, you create inner permission to change without fear. Without this approval, change feels like punishment rather than possibility. Many people believe that self-approval will make them complacent. They worry that if they stop criticizing themselves, they will stop growing. In truth, the opposite is often the case. Criticism tightens the mind and body, limiting creativity. Approval relaxes the system, allowing new ideas and solutions to arise naturally. You may notice that kind thoughts feel unfamiliar at first. This does not mean they are untrue. It simply means they have not yet been practiced. Just as the body learns a new movement through repetition, the mind learns new ways of responding through gentle consistency. There is no need to rush this process. I often encourage people to begin with thoughts that feel like relief. A thought such as, "I am doing the best I can today," allows the body to soften. From that place of softness, deeper affirmations can grow. Healing begins where resistance ends. Mirror work is one way to practice loving approval. When you look into your own eyes and offer kindness, you may feel emotions rise. This is natural. The mirror reflects not only your image, but your relationship with yourself. Staying present with compassion allows old feelings to release. Consistency matters more than intensity. A few loving words spoken daily have a greater effect than occasional bursts of enthusiasm. Each repetition lays down a new pathway of safety and trust. Over time, these pathways become familiar, and the old patterns lose their strength. Loving thoughts do not deny pain. They acknowledge it and surround it with care. When you say, "I love and approve of myself," even when I am uncomfortable, you send a powerful message to your body that it does not have to fight. In this environment, healing unfolds gently. Notice how your body responds when you choose approval instead of judgment. Perhaps your jaw relaxes or your breath deepens. These are signs that the body is receiving your kindness. It understands the language of love far more clearly than the language of criticism. You do not need to believe every affirmation fully for it to be effective. Willingness is enough. Saying, "I am willing to see myself differently," opens the door to change without pressure. The mind relaxes when it is not forced to accept something all at once. I invite you to choose thoughts that feel like permission rather than demand. Thoughts that say, "It is safe to be who I am," or "I allow myself to learn at my own pace." These thoughts create an inner environment where growth feels supported rather than imposed. Self-approval is not selfish. When you treat yourself with kindness, you naturally extend that kindness to others. Relationships improve because you are no longer asking others to supply the approval you have denied yourself. Love flows more freely when it begins within. You may notice resistance to approving of yourself. Old beliefs may arise, telling you that you do not deserve kindness yet. When this happens, meet the resistance with compassion. It is simply another pattern ready to be released. You do not need to argue with it. You only need to choose love again. The body thrives on repetition. Each time you repeat a loving thought, you reinforce safety. Over time, this safety allows long-held tension to dissolve. Healing often feels subtle at first, like a quiet easing rather than a dramatic shift. I want you to remember that you are not here to become someone else. You are here to become more fully yourself. Loving approval allows your true nature to emerge without fear. It encourages authenticity rather than performance. As you practice choosing gentle thoughts, notice moments when kindness arises spontaneously. These moments are signs that new patterns are taking root. Celebrate them quietly. Appreciation strengthens what you wish to grow. You may still encounter challenges. Loving yourself does not remove all difficulty, but it changes how you meet it. With self-approval, challenges become experiences rather than threats. The body responds with resilience instead of contraction. I often remind people that change happens from the inside out. When your inner world becomes more loving, your outer experiences begin to reflect that shift. This is not magic, it is alignment. Life responds to the energy you offer yourself. Allow your affirmations to evolve as you do. What feels supportive today may change tomorrow. Trust your inner guidance. It will always lead you toward greater kindness and understanding. As you rest in loving approval, you may notice a growing sense of ease. This ease is not laziness, it is harmony. From harmony, inspired action arises naturally, without struggle or self-judgment. Carry this practice with you gently. There is no need to be perfect. Each loving thought, no matter how small, contributes to your healing. You are building a relationship with yourself that is based on trust rather than fear. When you are ready, we will move into the final unfolding, where we remember a deeper truth, that life itself is on your side and has always been. My beloved, as we come into this final unfolding together, I want to remind you of something very gentle and very powerful. Life is not against you. It never has been. Even when experiences felt painful or confusing, life was not punishing you. It was responding faithfully and neutrally to the thoughts and beliefs you were holding at the time. Understanding this brings relief rather than blame. Many of us learn to see life as something we must struggle against. We brace ourselves, expecting difficulty, disappointment, or loss. This expectation quietly shapes how the body lives in the world. Muscles tighten, breath shortens, the heart becomes cautious. When we choose to believe that life supports us, the body receives permission to soften. Trust is not something we force. It grows slowly as we gather evidence from our own experience. You may look back and see moments when things worked out in unexpected ways, when help arrived just in time, or when a difficult ending made space for something kinder. These moments are reminders that life has an intelligence of its own. Letting go of self-blame is essential here. Blame, even when directed inward, keeps us stuck in the past. Responsibility without blame, on the other hand, returns us to the present where choice exists. You can acknowledge that your thoughts shaped your experiences without judging yourself for having them. Peace becomes more accessible when we stop demanding guarantees before allowing ourselves to feel safe. Life does not promise certainty, but it does offer guidance. This guidance often comes as quiet feelings, gentle nudges, or a sense of ease when we move in the right direction. Learning to listen requires trust. You belong here. You are part of life, not separate from it. When you remember this, loneliness begins to dissolve. Even when you are physically alone, you can feel connected to something larger that holds you with care. Resting in this understanding does not mean difficulties disappear. It means you meet them differently. Instead of asking, "What is wrong with me?" you may begin to ask, "What is life showing me right now?" This shift opens the door to insight rather than despair. I want to weave together what you have been remembering throughout our time together. Rest allowed your body to soften. Compassion quieted the inner critic. Presence released urgency. Loving approval created safety. Together, these practices form a living relationship with yourself and with life. There is nothing you need to become to deserve love. You do not need to heal faster, understand more, or be stronger than you are today. Love is not withheld until conditions are met. It is available now, in this breath, in this body, in this moment. When fear arises, meet it gently. Fear is simply a signal that the body is remembering old beliefs. You can reassure it with kindness. You can say, "I am safe right now," and allow the words to settle. The body listens and responds. Hope grows naturally when we stop arguing with life. When we align ourselves with the idea that life wants to support us, opportunities appear more easily. We notice them because we are no longer scanning for danger. This awareness feels like lightness. You may forget this truth from time to time. This is natural. Old habits have deep roots. When you notice yourself slipping into doubt or self-criticism, return to this reminder without judgment. Returning is part of the practice. I want you to feel the quiet assurance that you can come back to these words whenever you need them. They are not commands, they are invitations. Each time you listen, you strengthen your connection to yourself and to life. As you move forward, carry this feeling with you. You are supported, you are guided, You are loved, not because you are perfect, but because you exist. Life does not make mistakes. Allow yourself to rest in this understanding now. Let your breath slow. Let your body feel held. There is nothing more you need to do. This reminder has found you because you were ready to receive it. And when you forget, as we all do, be gentle. Simply return. Life will be here, loving you every step of the way. My dear one, before we part, I want to sit with you a little longer. Not to teach, not to instruct, not to ask anything of you, but simply to be present together. Sometimes the most healing moments come after the words seem to have ended, when the heart is quiet enough to truly receive what has already been offered. You have listened, you have allowed yourself to slow down. That alone tells me something important about you. There is a deep wisdom within you that knows when it is time to soften. You may not always trust this wisdom, but it has guided you here. It will continue to guide you long after these words fade into silence. I want you to remember that healing is not an event, it is a relationship with your body, your thoughts, your emotions, and with life itself. Like any relationship, it grows through attention, honesty, and kindness. There will be days when it feels close and days when it feels distant. Neither means you are doing anything wrong. There may be moments after this when the old voice returns, the one that says you should be doing more, healing faster, understanding better. When that happens, I invite you not to panic. The return of old patterns does not undo what you have learned. It simply gives you another opportunity to choose love where you once chose fear. Think of healing as a spiral rather than a straight line. You may revisit familiar feelings, but each time you do, you meet them with a little more awareness, a little more gentleness. This is progress, even if it does not look the way the mind expects. I want you to know that nothing you feel disqualifies you from love. Not sadness, not anger, not confusion. Feelings are movements of energy, not verdicts on your worth. When you allow them to move through you without judgment, they complete themselves naturally. Your body especially deserves your kindness. It has carried every thought you have ever believed. It has responded faithfully, even when the messages were harsh or fearful. When you speak to your body with love now, it recognizes the change immediately. It responds with relief, sometimes with emotion, sometimes with rest. You do not need to watch yourself constantly or correct every thought. That would simply be another form of pressure. Healing happens when loving thoughts become the easier choice, not the forced one. Trust that repetition will take care of this for you. There will be ordinary days ahead, days filled with routine, responsibility, and small decisions. These days matter just as much as moments of insight. It is in the ordinary moments that new patterns take root. A gentle thought while washing your hands, a soft breath before responding, a quiet approval of yourself for simply being. I want you to allow yourself to live, not perform your healing. You are not here to prove that you are growing. You are here to experience life more fully, more honestly, more lovingly. Growth is a natural result of that experience, not a requirement you must meet. Sometimes healing feels like relief, sometimes it feels like grief. When old layers dissolve, there can be sadness for what was never received, or tenderness for the younger self who learned to survive without softness. These feelings are not setbacks. They are signs that the heart feels safe enough to open. If tears come, welcome them. Tears are not weakness, they are release. They are the body's way of letting go of what it no longer needs to hold. After tears, there is often space, quiet, open, and new. I want to remind you again, you are not alone. Even when you feel isolated, you are connected to life itself. The same intelligence that beats your heart and moves your breath is present everywhere. You are part of something vast and loving, even when you cannot feel it clearly. Trust does not mean you will never doubt. It means you return to kindness when doubt arises. Each return strengthens your confidence in yourself. Over time, This confidence becomes a steady presence rather than a fragile hope. You may notice changes unfolding slowly. Perhaps you speak more kindly to yourself without thinking. Perhaps your body relaxes more easily. Perhaps situations that once felt overwhelming feel more manageable. These quiet shifts are powerful. Honor them. Be patient with the parts of you that are still learning. They are not obstacles, they are simply younger places asking for reassurance. When you meet them with compassion, they relax. When they relax, they integrate. I want you to remember that loving yourself does not mean you will never want to change. It means change comes from inspiration rather than dissatisfaction. When you love yourself, you want to care for yourself. You want to choose what feels nourishing. This desire arises naturally. Life will continue to offer you experiences, some pleasant, some challenging. When challenges arise, you can meet them from a place of support rather than self-blame. You can ask, what is the loving response right now? That question alone shifts everything. You do not need to hold on to these words tightly. Let them settle where they are needed and allow the rest to drift away. What remains will be what truly belongs to you. Healing always keeps what is useful and releases what is not. If you ever feel lost again, return to the simplest truth. Breathe, place a hand on your body, and remind yourself that you are willing to be kind. Willingness is enough. It always has been. I am so grateful that you chose to spend this time with yourself. That choice is an affirmation in itself. It says, I matter. My inner life matters. And that belief, repeated gently, can transform everything. As you move forward, carry this reminder lightly. Like a warm shawl you can wrap around yourself whenever the world feels cold. You do not need to wear it all the time. Just know it is there. And remember, my dear, life loves you, not because you are finished, but because you are here. Not because you are perfect, but because you are alive. Let that love meet you again and again in every ordinary, precious moment. My precious one, let us stay together just a little while longer. Not because there is more to learn, but because there is more to feel. Sometimes the deepest healing happens when we are no longer trying to heal at all, when we simply allow ourselves to rest inside the truth we have remembered. You have been remembering something very old and very simple. You have been remembering yourself, not the version of you shaped by expectation or effort, but the quiet presence beneath all the stories. This remembering does not shout. It does not demand recognition. It arrives softly, like a hand resting on your shoulder, saying, you are still here. And that is enough. I want you to know that nothing you have experienced disqualifies you from peace, not the mistakes you regret, not the choices you would make differently now, not the moments when you felt lost or small or afraid. All of it belongs. All of it has brought you to this awareness, this tenderness, this willingness to listen. Healing is often imagined as becoming someone new. In truth, it is the gradual release of who you were never meant to be. It is the unlearning of harshness, the softening of defenses, the quiet decision to stop abandoning yourself when life feels uncertain. There may be times when you forget this, times when the old urgency returns, when the voice of not enough grows loud again. When that happens, please do not scold yourself. That voice learned its lines long ago. It does not disappear through force. It fades when it is no longer needed. Each time you notice and choose kindness instead, you teach your inner world that it is safe to change. Safety is the language healing understands best. When the body feels safe, it releases what it has been holding without struggle. You may not always feel peaceful. Peace is not a permanent state. It is a place you return to again and again as you would return home after a long journey. Each return becomes easier. Each return feels more familiar. I want you to trust the pace of your own unfolding. There is no prize for healing quickly. There is no reward for suffering silently. Your only invitation is to be honest with yourself and gentle in that honesty. Sometimes honesty sounds like, I am tired. Sometimes it sounds like, I am afraid. Sometimes it sounds like, I don't know what to do next. These are not failures, they are doorways. When you allow these truths to be present without judgment, they begin to transform on their own. Your body has been your companion through every experience. It has adapted, protected, and endured. Even when it felt uncomfortable or uncooperative, it was always trying to help you survive. When you thank your body, even silently, it hears you. Gratitude is deeply reassuring to the body. You do not need to monitor yourself constantly. Healing does not require vigilance. It requires trust. Trust that loving thoughts will become more natural as you practice them. Trust that awareness will guide you when you drift. Trust that life will meet you when you soften. I want you to allow your life to be imperfect and precious at the same time. These two qualities are not opposites. They belong together. A life without flaws would be lifeless. A life with tenderness and acceptance is alive and meaningful. There will be moments of joy that surprise you, simple moments. A breath that feels especially deep, a laugh that rises without effort, a quiet sense of ease that appears for no obvious reason. These moments are signs that alignment is returning. Receive them without suspicion. There will also be moments when old pain surfaces unexpectedly. When this happens, place a hand on your heart and remind yourself that awareness has made this possible. What surfaces does so because it is ready to be released. You do not need to analyze it. Presence is enough. I want you to remember that you are allowed to change your mind. You are allowed to rest. You are allowed to choose again. You are allowed to be unfinished. None of these require explanation or permission. As you move through your days, notice how often you rush yourself. Gently interrupt that habit when you can. A pause before speaking, a breath before deciding, a moment of approval before moving on. These small pauses create space for wisdom to emerge. Wisdom does not come from pushing, it comes from listening. When you listen inwardly, you align with a deeper intelligence that has always been guiding you. This intelligence does not criticize, it encourages. It does not rush, it trusts. You may still look outward for reassurance from time to time. This is human. When you do, gently remind yourself that the most important approval comes from within. Each time you offer it to yourself, you strengthen your inner foundation. I want you to feel how supported you are right now. Even if you cannot name the source of that support, it is present. It shows up as breath, as heartbeat, as the quiet ability to listen and reflect. These are not small things. They are signs of life moving through you. When the world feels overwhelming, return to the simplest practices. Breathe. Touch your body with kindness. Speak one gentle thought. These are not insignificant gestures. They are powerful reminders of your connection to yourself. You are not here to fix everything at once. You are here to live, to feel, to grow in awareness. Life unfolds one moment at a time, and each moment offers a new opportunity to choose love over fear. If you ever feel disconnected again, remember this: the connection has not been lost, it has only been covered. A single loving thought can uncover it. A single breath can bring you back. I want you to trust that you will know what to do when the time comes. You do not need to solve your entire future now. Clarity arrives as you need it, not before. This is one of life's kindnesses. As we sit here together in this closing space, allow yourself to feel appreciation, not because everything is perfect, but because you are willing. Willingness is the seed from which all healing grows. Carry this with you gently, not as a rule, not as a standard, but as a reminder that you can return to yourself at any time, a reminder that love is available now, a reminder that life is not asking you to be different, only to be present. And when you forget, as we all do, smile softly and return again. Life will be waiting. It always is. My dear one, let us remain here together a little longer, in this quiet space that has opened. There is no urgency to leave it. This softness you may be feeling is not fragile. It is strong in a way that does not need to prove itself. It has been waiting patiently beneath effort, beneath striving, beneath the belief that you must always be becoming something more. You may notice a gentle settling now, as if something inside you has exhaled after holding its breath for a very long time. This is not something you forced. It happened because you allowed yourself to listen without defending, to receive without arguing. That willingness is a form of trust, even if you did not name it as such. I want you to understand that this state of gentleness is not meant to be dramatic or permanent. It is meant to be familiar, something you recognize and return to, like a favorite chair or a quiet corner of your home. The mind may wander away from it, but the body remembers. It always remembers. You have spent much of your life learning how to endure. Endurance has value, and it carried you through moments when tenderness felt unsafe. But now you are learning something new. You are learning how to live without bracing yourself against life. This learning does not happen through effort, it happens through permission. There may be a part of you that wonders how to carry this feeling back into daily life. The answer is simpler than the mind expects. You do not carry it by holding on tightly. You carry it by letting it inform how you speak to yourself when no one else is listening. That is where real integration happens. When you wake up tomorrow, you may not feel this same calm. That does not mean it is gone. It means life has invited you back into movement. When you notice tension, see it as a reminder rather than a problem. A reminder to soften your breath, your shoulders, your expectations of yourself. I want you to trust that nothing essential will be lost when you relax. You will not become careless or unmotivated. What falls away is only what was driven by fear. What remains is clarity, intuition, and a quieter strength that does not exhaust you. You are allowed to live at a pace that feels natural to your body. There is no universal rhythm you must match. Some seasons call for action, some call for rest. Wisdom lies in listening rather than insisting. Your body will tell you what it needs if you let it. There may be moments when others do not understand this change in you. They may be accustomed to the version of you who pushes, who overgives, who proves worth through effort. You do not need to explain yourself. Your peace does not require permission. I want you to remember that boundaries can be loving. Saying no can be kind. Resting can be responsible. These truths may take time to feel comfortable, especially if you learned early that love came through self-sacrifice. Be patient with yourself as you unlearn that lesson. You are not required to revisit your past repeatedly in order to heal it. Awareness is enough, compassion is enough. The body releases what it no longer needs when it feels safe in the present. You do not have to reopen old wounds to prove that healing is happening. Notice the small choices you make each day, choosing a kinder thought, pausing before responding, allowing yourself to stop when you are tired. These choices may seem insignificant, but they are cumulative. Over time, they reshape your inner world. I want you to feel how much effort you no longer need to use, how many arguments you no longer need to have with yourself, how many judgments you can gently set aside. This is not avoidance. It is maturity of the heart. There may be days when you forget and return to old patterns. When that happens, resist the urge to turn awareness into criticism. Awareness is not meant to be sharp. It is meant to be illuminating. Simply notice, soften, and return. Your worth is not measured by consistency. It is not measured by how well you remember to be kind. Worth is not something that fluctuates. It is constant. What fluctuates is your access to that knowing, and that is human. I want you to allow joy to arrive without suspicion. Joy does not need justification. It does not mean something bad is coming. It is simply a natural response to alignment. When you feel joy, let it move through you freely. And when sadness comes, let it be present without fear. Sadness is not the opposite of healing. Often it is part of it. Sadness softens the heart and makes room for deeper compassion. It asks only to be felt, not fixed. You are learning to trust yourself in a new way, not the self that performs or endures, but the self that listens and responds. This trust grows quietly, one gentle decision at a time. I want you to know that you are allowed to enjoy your life even while you are still learning. You do not need to wait until everything is resolved. Enjoyment does not delay healing, it supports it. Life will continue to unfold in ways you cannot predict. When it does, return to what you know now. Breathe. Soften. Choose the kindest thought available. You do not need to choose the perfect one. Kindness is enough. As we rest here at the close of these words, feel the steadiness beneath everything, the rhythm of your breath, the quiet intelligence of your body, the simple fact of being alive. These are not small things. They are the foundation of all healing. Carry this remembrance gently, not as a responsibility, but as a refuge. You can return to it whenever the world feels loud or demanding. It will not disappear because it is part of you. And when you forget, smile softly. Forgetting does not mean you have lost your way. It simply means it is time to remember again. Life is patient, so be patient with yourself. My dear one, let us linger once more in this quiet space together. There is something tender still unfolding within you, something that has not yet fully stretched its wings. We do not need to rush it. The heart opens in its own timing, just as flowers bloom according to the rhythm of the sun, not the demands of the world. You are allowed that same gentleness. You may not realize it, but the very fact that you are here, softening, listening, allowing means that something inside you is ready to trust again. Trust does not return all at once. It does not arrive dramatically. It returns like dawn, slowly, subtly, almost unnoticed, until suddenly the whole landscape of your inner world looks different. For so long, you may have believed that your heart needed protection. You learned to tighten around your feelings, to guard yourself from disappointment, to move through life with caution. These responses were not wrong. They were wise for the time in which they were learned. They were your way of surviving. But you are no longer living in the moment where that protection was required. Trust begins not by declaring, "I am safe now," but by gently asking, "What if it is safe enough to soften just a little?" That question alone creates a doorway, and you only need to step through one breath at a time. Notice that you are not being asked to drop your guard completely. You are being invited to loosen it, just enough to feel your own presence more clearly. When the heart has been clenched, even a small softening can bring release. You may feel warmth, you may feel tears, you may feel nothing at all at first. All of these are natural. The heart remembers what it has endured. It remembers disappointment, loss, confusion, and fear. But it also remembers joy, connection, hope, and love. Healing is not erasing the past. It is allowing the heart to carry its full story without believing that every moment will repeat itself. I want you to see how strong you are for being willing to trust again. Strength is not in the walls we build, but in the courage to let light back in. When you allow even a small ray of gentleness, the whole inner space begins to brighten. You are learning a new way of relating to yourself, one where kindness guides your choices rather than pressure. This is a profound shift, even if it feels subtle. When kindness becomes your foundation, your inner world rearranges itself around peace rather than fear. You may find that trust grows easiest in the simplest moments, when you choose a kinder thought, when you take a deeper breath, when you let yourself rest without guilt. These small acts teach the heart, "I will not abandon you again." Do not underestimate the power of these small acts. Healing is made of them. Trust deepens through them. 1,000 tiny moments of choosing love can reshape a lifetime of self-doubt. There may still be times when you feel unsure. You may wonder whether you are doing this right or whether you are falling back into old patterns. Please know that doubt is not a sign of failure. It is a sign of transition. When the heart learns to trust again, the mind often feels uncertain. This is natural. Be gentle with it. If you notice yourself tightening again, emotionally, mentally, or physically, place a hand where the tension lives and say softly, "It's all right. I am here with you." Feel how the body responds to that reassurance. Presence is the medicine the heart has been waiting for. Life meets us differently when we trust ourselves. Choices become clearer, boundaries become steadier, relationships become simpler, not because the world changes, but because we are no longer operating from fear. We act from love, from self-respect, from inner steadiness. I want you to imagine walking through life with this steadiness, not rushing, not bracing, not apologizing for your needs, simply moving with gentleness, trusting that you deserve to feel supported in every step. This picture is not a fantasy. It is a reflection of what becomes possible when the heart feels safe within your own care. There may be people in your life who do not understand this new softness in you. They may expect the version of you who overextends, who pleases, who sacrifices their own well-being. Let them adjust at their own pace. Your healing does not require their approval. As you continue to grow in trust, you may find that some relationships deepen while others naturally drift. This is normal. When you change the way you treat yourself, the landscape around you shifts to match your new frequency of kindness. I want you to know that loneliness can appear even in healing. This does not mean you are doing anything wrong. Sometimes the heart feels quiet as it adjusts to a life without the old habits of fear and urgency. Let this quiet be a companion rather than an enemy. There is wisdom in stillness. In this stillness, you may hear a softer voice than the one you were used to, the voice of your intuition. It does not shout, it nudges, it comforts, it feels like a settling, a knowing, a gentle yes or no. Trusting this voice is part of trusting life. You do not need to chase clarity. It will arise when the inner space is ready, and when it comes, it will feel peaceful, not pressured. Clarity that comes from trust never demands urgency. As you move through your days, remember the practices that brought you here. A breath, a pause, a kind thought, a hand placed gently over your heart. These are anchors. They return you to yourself when the world feels heavy. You are learning to live from love rather than fear. This is the greatest transformation you can offer yourself. Fear constricts the heart, love expands it. Fear prepares for harm, love prepares for possibility. Fear closes, love opens. Let yourself open slowly, the way nature opens, without deadlines, without judgment, without apology. You are not behind, you are not late, you are right on time for your own becoming. As we sit here in these closing moments once again, I want you to feel how far you have come, not in distance, but in depth. You have softened where you once tensed. You have listened where you once silenced yourself. You have allowed where you once resisted. This is healing. This is courage. This is love returning home. You can return to this softness whenever you need it. You can return to this trust whenever you feel lost. Life will meet you. It always does. And when the heart closes, which it will, from time to time, simply remind yourself, I know the way back. Because now you do. Life loves you, dear one. Let that love continue to guide you gently and faithfully into every moment that awaits you next. My precious one, let us stay together once more in this gentle place you have created within yourself. There is no limit to how many times you may return here. Healing does not follow a schedule, and softness does not expire. You may come back to this quiet refuge 1,000 times, and each time it will receive you with the same tenderness. You have traveled far within yourself through these reflections, farther than you may realize. Not far in distance, but far in depth. And depth is where true change happens. Depth is where the roots of old beliefs loosen. Depth is where the body begins to exhale after years of silent holding. Depth is where you remember that you deserve to feel safe. So let us sit here again, not to solve anything, but to rest in the knowing that nothing needs solving in this moment. Life is not asking you to be different. Life is inviting you to be present, and that presence is enough. There is a gentle truth I want to whisper to you now. You do not have to carry yourself alone. You were never meant to. Many of us learn to take responsibility for everything, our emotions, our mistakes, our outcomes, even the feelings of others. We learned that strength meant self-sufficiency, that needing support was a weakness. But true strength is the willingness to let yourself be held not just by others, but by life itself. Life holds you in ways you cannot always see. It holds you through breath, through intuition, through unexpected kindness, through the quiet willingness to continue even when the mind is tired. Life holds you the way the earth holds roots, silently, steadily, without judgment. I want you to imagine what it would feel like to lean just a little into this support. You do not need to fall into it. You do not need to surrender everything. Just lean the way a weary body leans against a tree, trusting its steadiness. Allow yourself to feel what it is like, not to brace so tightly inside yourself. You may notice an immediate softening, or you may notice resistance. Both are natural. The heart that has carried itself for a very long time often hesitates before allowing itself to rest. Reassure it gently, you are safe, you may relax. Say it not as a command, but as a comfort. So much of your exhaustion has come from believing you must always be on alert, alert for what might go wrong, alert for where you may fall short, alert for how others may respond to you. This vigilance was once a form of protection, but it is no longer needed in the same way. You can thank it for its service and let it rest. Letting yourself be held does not mean giving up responsibility. It means sharing it with life, with trust, with the deeper intelligence that has always guided you. When you release even a small portion of your inner pressure, clarity returns, insight returns, peace returns. These gifts have never left you. They were simply waiting for space. Notice how your body responds to the thought of being supported. Perhaps your chest expands just a little. Perhaps your breathing deepens. Perhaps tension loosens in places you were not aware were tight. The body responds instantly to the idea of safety, even before the mind fully understands it. This is why so much healing happens in silence, not in explanation, not in analysis, in silence, in breath, in presence. These are things the body understands intimately. You do not need to earn your right to feel supported. It is yours simply because you exist. Life supports everything. It creates the tide, the wind, the soil, the seasons, and it supports you too. Not conditionally, not reluctantly, naturally. If doubt arises, greet it with kindness. Doubt is simply an old part of you asking for reassurance. Say to it gently, I am learning to trust that life is on my side. Feel how even that simple statement begins to shift something in you. Let us take a moment together to reflect on how many times life has guided you quietly. Moments when you sensed you should turn one way instead of another. Moments when a conversation arrived at exactly the right time. Moments when rest restored you. These were not coincidences. These were reminders. When you begin to see life as an ally rather than an adversary, everything softens. Your breath, your expectations, your relationship with yourself. You stop pushing to survive and begin allowing yourself to live. You may still have questions about the future. That is natural, but you do not need to answer them now. The future will reveal itself in its own rhythm. Your only task is to stay connected to the gentle wisdom within you. When you are aligned with kindness, your next steps become clearer. Remember that you can speak to yourself the way life speaks to you, softly, patiently, lovingly. You can say, "I am here for you," and trust that those words matter. They matter because your own presence is the foundation of your healing. And when you forget, because forgetting is part of the human journey, return without judgment. You are never so far away that you cannot come home to yourself again. Home is not a destination. It is a relationship with your inner being. Let this be a space where you place down every weight you do not need to carry. Fear, judgment, hurry, self-doubt. They may rise again, but you now know how to meet them. You meet them with breath, with willingness, with love. You may feel a quiet warmth spreading inside you now, or a stillness, or simply the awareness of your own presence. Whatever you feel is welcome. There is no right way to rest in yourself. As we close this epilogue, remember this. Life holds you every moment you allow yourself to be held. You do not need to grasp for safety. You only need to receive it. And each time you receive even a single breath of ease, you deepen the foundation of your healing. So rest now, dear one. Rest in the gentleness you have cultivated. Rest in the trust you are learning to grow. Rest in the truth that life loves you quietly, steadily, unconditionally. And whenever you are ready to rise again, you will rise from a place of peace, not pressure. If you ever need to return, these words will be here, waiting softly for you. My dear one, let us stay in this gentle space once again, for there is still more unfolding within you, softly, quietly, without urgency. Healing does not follow a straight line, nor does awakening arrive with a loud announcement. Often the deepest transformations happen beneath the surface, in places the mind does not yet understand. I can feel that something within you is continuing to settle, and it deserves all the time it needs. You may not fully realize how much strength it takes to soften. The world often tells us that strength is loud, forceful, unyielding. But the heart knows a different kind of strength, the kind that opens rather than hardens, that breathes rather than braces, that listens rather than judges. This quiet strength has been growing in you with every moment of willingness, every breath of gentleness, every thought softened by love. For so long, you may have believed that you needed to push yourself to become worthy. You may have carried yourself with tension, thinking that effort alone could shape your life. But now you are discovering a deeper truth. Your worth has never depended on anything external. Not your productivity, not your confidence, not your pace, not your healing. Worth is your birthright, untouched by circumstance. If you let yourself feel into that truth, even for a moment, notice how your body responds. There may be a loosening in the chest, a small release in the throat, a quiet softening in the belly. The body knows truth before the mind does, and it responds with relief. You have spent years, perhaps decades, trying to protect yourself from disappointment, preparing for the worst, bracing for criticism, anticipating what might go wrong. But protection built from fear is exhausting, and it rarely brings the safety we seek. True safety comes from trust. Trust in yourself, trust in life, and trust that you can meet whatever arises with compassion rather than panic. This trust is not naive. It is not blind optimism. It is a deep understanding that no matter what happens, you will not abandon yourself again. You will listen. You will soothe. You will stay present. And that presence is more powerful than any external guarantee. Think for a moment of the countless times you have faced difficulty and continued on. You may have felt afraid, unsure, hesitant, but you continued. You learned, you adapted, you grew. That quiet resilience is part of you. It always has been. And now, instead of using it to endure pain, you are learning to use it to support your own joy. There may be parts of you that still resist softness, that believe vulnerability is dangerous, that whisper, if I let down my guard, I will be hurt again. These parts are not wrong. They remember a time when softness was not understood or protected, but you are not living in that time anymore. You can reassure those tender parts with the gentleness they once lacked. Say to them softly, you are safe with me now. Feel how those words settle inside you. Feel how the body responds to being spoken to with such care. Healing is not a performance. You do not need to announce your progress or prove your transformation. The most meaningful shifts happen quietly in the privacy of your inner world. A softening of expectations, a kinder thought, a slower breath, a moment where you choose peace instead of pressure. These are the foundations of a life lived from love. You may still have moments when you forget, moments when anxiety tightens your shoulders, when self-doubt creeps in, when old beliefs rise to the surface. These moments are not setbacks. They are invitations, opportunities to practice returning to yourself with compassion. When fear appears, you can say, I see you. When tension rises, you can say, I am here. When doubt whispers, you can say, I choose love instead. These simple statements are powerful because they anchor you to your own presence. As you grow into this new way of being, you will find that your inner world becomes more spacious. There is more room for ease, for joy, for curiosity, for rest. You begin to trust your own timing. You begin to trust that life moves with you, not against you. There is a rhythm to healing, one that cannot be rushed. There are days of clarity and days of confusion, days of energy and days of stillness, days where your heart feels open and days where it closes again. All of it belongs. All of it is part of your becoming. You do not need to strive to stay open. Openness will ebb and flow naturally. What matters is your willingness to return when you notice that you have closed. That willingness is strength. You may have believed that becoming softer would make you vulnerable to harm, but look at how far you have come. Look at how softness has allowed you to breathe more deeply, to speak to yourself more kindly, to rest without guilt, to trust without fear. Softness, when chosen consciously, is not weakness, it is wisdom. The world may still ask you to hurry, to compare, to prove, to perfect, but you do not have to respond to those demands. You can choose a different rhythm, one guided by inner steadiness rather than external pressure. Imagine for a moment moving through your life with this steadiness. Imagine waking with a sense of enoughness, walking through your day with acceptance, speaking to yourself with the kindness of an old friend. Imagine responding to challenges with breath instead of panic, with curiosity instead of self-blame. This is not a fantasy. This is what becomes possible when the heart trusts its own strength. I want you to know that you can return to this place, this quiet, this softness, whenever you need it. When the world feels loud, when your thoughts feel heavy, when uncertainty stirs, this space is yours. It lives within you. It cannot be taken, only forgotten for a moment. And when you forget, you now know how to return. Through breath, through kindness, through presence, through the simple reminder that life loves you. Let that truth settle into your bones now. Life loves you. Not because you are perfect, not because you have healed completely. Life loves you because you are part of it, because you exist. Rest in that love for a moment. Let it hold you. Let it remind you that you are supported. Let it soothe every place inside you that still feels fragile. You have grown more than you realize. You have softened more than you intended. You have opened more than you expected. And this quiet strength, this gentle, steady, loving strength will carry you forward into every step that comes next. And when the path feels uncertain, or the heart feels tired, or the mind feels lost, return here. I will meet you in this softness again. And life, always patient, always loving, will meet you too.